Hello and welcome to the Mad Leprechaun. My name is Mert Walsh. Today I shall be doing a first impressions review on this beautiful GSX S1000 GX. If that's something that interests you, please stick around and stay tuned until after the intro. It's basically a sports bike, or derived from a sports bike, but it's for those sports bike riders who don't want to ride a sports bike anymore, let's say, and aren't really ready to ride an adventure bike. If anybody's watched any of my other videos that I've made with Chelmsford City motorcycles, I normally go a slightly different route. Today I decided I would go into town first. I wanted to see how the fueling, the low speed fueling is, and so far I have to say, look at that, I'm actually in 6th gear top, and it's absolutely lovely. What Suzuki have tried to put together, this package, is clearly really important for Suzuki. It's the first Suzuki with electronic suspension. So far in traffic, and I know this is not the most inspiring ride in the world, so far in traffic it's been very well mannered. And also, what I would say is, coming through the gearbox is particularly well mannered, and also going into neutral, finding neutral is very easy. So I'm 6'5". I have quite long legs. Officially I would say I have a 36 inside leg, and I do not feel cramped or squished. I reckon I could probably ride this bike for a long period of time. It is definitely more sporty than what I'm used to, but then it's a crossover bike. It's not an adventure bike, it's not a sports bike, it's kind of somewhere in the middle, so it's bound to feel a little bit more sporty. All of the information that you could ever possibly want is on your 6.5-inch TFT screen. To the left of the TFT screen is a power socket that you can plug a USB cable into, so you can charge up your phone, or if you want to run a separate sat-nav, you can do just that. It feels like I'm sitting on it a little bit rather than in it, and Suzuki historically, especially the GSX range, used to be really good at making the rider feel like they were sitting in the bike rather than on the bike. Maybe that's the fact that it's a crossover bike, but it doesn't make me feel exposed or uneasy on the bike. Let's do some twisties. I'd have to kind of get used to where the indicator switch is.
I was finding whilst riding that the indicator switch was slightly awkward to find, as the cruise control switch on the left was obstructing my thumb.
Ooh, very nice, very nice. Suzuki say that this bike is designed for all-day two-up riding, and in fact they've put more padding in this seat, 15mm, than the GT, and they've made it flatter so that you're not as perched forward. So they've definitely tried to make the ergonomics as user-friendly as possible. front wheel and the back wheel are both 17-inch, and the tyres of choice that Suzuki are fitting are Dunlops. The electronics on this bike, it's got torque control, so if you're in the middle of a corner and you decide to be an idiot and open the throttle too much, the bike won't allow you to kill yourself. At least that's the theory anyway. Okay. I think I'll have a quick stop and see if I can have a little bit of reconfigure on the suspension. So there's your rider mode. Traction control. Hard. Right. 2 people. I'm going to go 1 person. Oh, we can actually feel the bike move under me. Okay. And then we're going to come. Right. Okay, let's see how that feels now. So we're traction control is 2. Still on B. Let's go A. Oh, so it's changed. Let's go back to B then. Hard. Let's go home. Okay, let's try that. It's not that I disliked what the bike was doing, I just disliked what the suspension was doing. That's much better. Much better. Yeah, okay. Now we're talking. It has a clever system that if you ride on a rough piece of ground like cobblestones or a rough road, it will smoothen out the throttle response, the suspension, and it'll just make everything a little bit more sedate. There is a piece of road down this way, and I think I'm going to enjoy with this bike. I mean, this is a relatively bumpy country road, and even with the suspension in hard, it's behaving itself, it's fine. Lovely part of the world, just lovely. Yep. Now, when I first took this bike out from the shop, I felt like the bike was on the gearbox, but it's probably because it was cold. I think I'm right in saying that if you were a sports bike rider in a former life and you didn't want to ride a sports bike anymore, but still wanted something that is sporty, I think I'm right in saying this could be the way to go. That engine is sweet, really is. Very, very enjoyable. Nice well of power. Well, I was the person that stiffened the suspension up, so I can't really complain. Clearly I'm not looking down, I'm kind of trying to look where I'm going, and it does actually feel like it could do with a 7th gear. I don't know why, but I kind of half expected the seat to be wider. Having said that, there is more than enough seat underneath my bottom. Right, shall have to find an appropriate spot, so pull in and do a walk round. Clearly I was not hanging about just then. The screen has got good wind protection. There was hardly any air hitting me here at all. Obviously I have got a camera strapped to the front of my helmet, and I always have to take that into account. But I did feel like there was a lot of air hitting the top part of my helmet. So what helmet you wear whilst riding this bike, maybe a peaked one wouldn't be advisable. Right, and there it is, the GSX S1000 GX. It is the first Suzuki motorcycle to use advanced electronic suspension, and the suspension is by Shoei. It's got active dampening and auto preload. The bike has been designed, as I said earlier, as a crossover bike. It's not a sports bike, it's not an adventure bike, it's kind of somewhere in between. And what I'm saying is, it's for the sports bike rider that doesn't want to buy or isn't ready for an adventure bike just yet. The bike comes in 3 different colorways: metallic Triton blue, pearl matte shadow green, and glass sparkle black, and that's this one. The power is 152 PS, alternatively 150 horsepower at 11,000 RPM. The torque figure is 106 Newton meters torque at 9,250 RPM. The engine displacement is 999 cc. The engine configuration is 4-stroke, 4-cylinder, liquid-cooled, double overhead cam. Like I said before, it's out of the K5, a well proven lump, and it's very, very willing. The gearbox is buttery smooth. I can definitely verify that. Bi-directional gear selector, which is over on this side, 6-speed quick shifter. The seat height is 845 millimeters. I'm 6'5" with a 36 inside leg, and I've got loads of room on it. Fuel tank capacity is 19 litres, so just over 4 gallons. The curb mass weight is 232 kilograms. This bike also has the clutch assist system, the Suzuki clutch assist system even. Suzuki seem to be putting the clutch assist system on pretty much everything they manufacture these days, and it is very, very smooth. You can electronically configure the suspension by this mode switch here. So let's have a little look. The TFT screen. Whilst we're here, rev counter, speed, fuel, engine temperature, air temperature, miles per hour. Interesting. Don't know what that is. Trip. Oh, trip 1, trip 2. That's the time. That's your riding mode, ABC, active, basic, and comfort. Traction control, which goes up to 5. This is where you set your preset for, if you want, for one rider with luggage, rider with pillion, and that's it. Go back up through, so just, or auto. I'm going to have it with 1 like that, quite like that, and then I'm going to select B, basic, A, active. Active is more sporty, B is basic, and if I'm honest, that's kind of where I liked it. This is the riding mode. And C, comfort, well, we know what that is, and I'm going to leave it in basic. And this is your pre-select for the suspension, which I have either medium, hard, or soft. And user, so you can configure this to how you like it. And I'm going to put it back on hard. And that is as much as I'm going to play with that. You can hold the mode button. If we come out, come home, and then if we hold, you can go into the menu, and let's try to go back into the menu again, and then page down through the different settings, and you can configure. Yeah, you can also connect your phone to this TFT screen, so you can play music, you can answer telephone calls. I don't agree with either, but if you want to do that, you can also turn this TFT screen into a sat-nav if you wish. The TFT screen measurement is 6.5 inches, color, full color, and yeah, I think it's very readable. So if I press the OK button and hold it, that brings me to the menu, and then I can toggle down through the various things in that menu. And to come back out, I press the home button. That's the TFT screen. So what's on this side? So we have lights at the front, we have the menu button mode switch here, indicators, horn. This is for the cruise control, set and reset. The starter, which you don't need to hold. You can literally just press it and it'll start. Hazard lights, and that's for your cruise control. Right, whilst we're on the subject, let's look at the lights. The lights are LED. Middle one is on at the moment, and just mid-top is on at the moment, and that is low beam. It's got 2 side lights, one either side, and a main beam which is below. Since I've been riding various different Suzukis, a few different people have said, cast their opinion on the headlights. I quite like them, but one person did say that they're not very good at night. The hazard warning lights work nicely. I like the hand guards. The screen is adjustable. Unfortunately, you do have to take the screws out to adjust it. Round the back we have a tail light which is also LED, and the indicators which are clearly LED as well. Nothing wrong with the power delivery. It's not stifled by the electronics. They're there to help, not to hinder. The lightweight swinging arm, I would say, wouldn't look out of place on a sports bike. And then this beautiful piece of trellis work, which is the subframe at the back, is a thing to behold as well. The front brake is a twin 310mm drilled radial mounted Brembo monoblock caliper with 4 pistons per caliper, and a single Nissan twin pistoned caliper on the rear, and it works absolutely fine and dandy. Obviously the final drive is chain, a 6-spoked aluminium wheel. The front and rear tyre are Sports Max from Dunlop, and I felt fine on them actually. It's very, very easy to put onto the centre stand. I mean, it's stupidly easy to put onto the centre stand. I mean, that was just really, really simple. Let's have a little sit on it so you can see a 6'5" person sitting on the GSX. And that's kind of the way I would sit really if I was riding a bike of this nature. I like to ride on the ball of my foot. I think your missus' foot would come encroach with my heel, but then I've got big feet, so I'd have to ride it a little bit more like that. Train smash? Not really. Something to take into consideration. The ergonomics are quite good. You're not riding it like this, which is kind of good. It's the whole point of the bike. It's a crossover. Yeah, riding it by myself, and you decide you want to be a bit of a hooligan on this bike. The throttle response, very, very light, and it does get up and go. No problems at all. Before I forget, and before I jump back onto the bike and bring the bike back to Chelmsford City Motorcycles, thanks ever so much to Tony for setting this one up. Yeah, he's allowed me the opportunity to ride this, and what an opportunity it is. I really like it. I really do like it. Would the bike be for me? Would I like to own this bike? No. I'm a purebred adventure bike rider. I have ridden other sports tour bikes in recent years, and if I'm honest, I really didn't like them. However, having said all of that, I have enjoyed riding this. I still think that Barry, and you know who you are, Barry, I think this is the bike for you. I think you need to leave your Bandit behind and come and see Tony down at Chelmsford City Motorcycles. This could be your next bike, Barry. It could, it really could. Right, enough of the messing about, let's get back on it. The fuel tank yet again has got a ridge down here where my knee kind of locks into when we're going around a bend. Feels very reassuring. So I was thinking, who is this bike aimed at? Clearly it's kind of aimed at my age group. If you've come from having a sports bike, a 1 litre sports bike, and you don't want to be in that bum up in the air, chin on the floor seating position, this bike could be the bike for you. However, having said that, a lot of very, very talented riders have ridden this bike, and now you've got a talentless rider riding the bike. I would consider myself more of an average Joe as far as ability is concerned. I'm not intimidated by the bike at all. It's very, very user friendly. So let's say you've passed your test and you're coming from a 600, let's say, and you want to go up in the CC. This could be the bike for you as well. So, what do I think? After getting onto the bike and getting off of the bike and then getting back onto the bike again, what do I think is the biggest critique of the bike? The brakes. It's the only thing I can think of to say that I would really critique the bike on is the brakes. The brakes do stop you really, really well. It could be down to the fact, well, two things. Number one, they're quite new brakes, and number two, it could be down to the brake pad material. So if you put something in there that gives you a little bit more bite or a little bit more feel, I might sort all of that out. That's it. It wouldn't be the bike for me, but it would be a bike that I would recommend to someone either coming up through the CC or wanting to stay with a 1 litre bike and have a little bit more of an upright seating position. That's it. If you've liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you haven't liked this video for any particular reason whatsoever, please feel free to leave a thumbs down. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section below, and then that way I'll just see you in the next one. Until next time, people, take care of yourself. Bye bye.